The twin suns of Kirel 9 cast long shadows across the broken landscape. Sergeant Marcus Webb wiped sweat from his forehead as his patrol vehicle rumbled over the rocky terrain. The border world had seen better days. Burnt buildings and abandoned settlements dotted the horizon, reminders of the ongoing conflict between the Galactic Coalition and the raider gangs. "Another quiet day in paradise," said Chen, the driver, his voice crackling through the helmet radio. Marcus smiled slightly. "Quiet is good. Quiet means nobody's shooting at us." Rodriguez sat in the back, monitoring the scanner display. The three humans had been patrolling this sector for 2 months now. It was routine work. Mostly boring. Occasionally dangerous. That was life as a coalition peacekeeper. Then the scanner beeped. "Contact." Rodriguez called out. "Wait. That's not a raider signature. It's a distress beacon." Marcus leaned forward. 6 kilometers northeast, in the dead zone. Chen groaned. "The dead zone? That's hostile territory, Sarge. Command won't approve a rescue mission there." Marcus studied the scanner. The signal was weak, but persistent. Someone needed help. "Call it in. Let's see what command says." Quote. Rodriguez sent the report. The response came back within minutes. "Negative. Too dangerous. Unknown number of hostiles. Continue standard patrol." Marcus stared at the scanner. The beacon kept blinking, a tiny cry for help in the wasteland. He thought about his own family back on Earth. His sister. His nephew. What if they needed help and nobody came? "Sarge?" Chen watched him carefully. "What are you thinking?" "I'm thinking we're already out here," Marcus said quietly. "We're armed. We're trained. And someone needs help." "Command said no," Rodriguez reminded him. "Command isn't here." Marcus checked his weapon. "I am. You two can head back if you want. I'll go alone." Chen and Rodriguez exchanged glances. Then Chen turned the vehicle northeast. "Guess we're all getting written up today," Chen muttered. They traveled in silence, watching for raiders. The dead zone earned its name, honestly. Nothing grew here. The ground was scorched from old orbital bombardments, cracked and gray like old bones. Perfect hiding spots for ambush. The crashed ship came into view after 20 minutes. It was a diplomatic vessel, its hull torn open like paper. Debris scattered across 100 meters. Small fires still burned in places. "Looks recent," Rodriguez said. "Maybe an hour old." They approached cautiously. Weapons ready. Marcus scanned for life signs. 3 signatures, all weak. No hostiles nearby. But that could change quickly. "Chen, keep watch. Rodriguez with me." They moved through the wreckage carefully. The ship's interior was a mess of twisted metal and broken equipment. Marcus found the first survivor pinned under a collapsed bulkhead. He was a Threxian, a reptilian species known for their trading skills. Unconscious, but breathing. The second survivor was nearby, a young Corvan male with blue-gray skin. He was awake but dazed, speaking rapidly in his own language. Then Marcus heard it, a voice, speaking broken galactic common, desperate and afraid. "Please, please help. My daughter." He found her in what remained of the passenger cabin. She was unlike any species Marcus had encountered before. Her skin had a faint aquatic shimmer, shifting between blue and silver. Bioluminescent patterns ran along her arms and neck, currently dim and flickering. Her large eyes held both intelligence and terror. "Coalition forces," Marcus said gently, kneeling beside her. "You're safe now. We're here to help." "My daughter," she gasped. The translator device on her belt was damaged, crackling with static. "They took my daughter." Marcus's blood ran cold. "Who took her? Raiders?" The alien woman nodded weakly. She was badly injured, a deep gash across her side bleeding a purple-tinged fluid. "Ambassador. Thal Sarah." I am Ambassador Thalsera of the Velkari people. She clutched Marcus's arm with surprising strength. My daughter, Zinlia, 6 years old. They took her. Rodriguez appeared at Marcus's shoulder. Sarge, we need to evacuate now. I'm picking up movement, 3 kilometers south. In a minute. Marcus focused on Thalsera. When did they take her? Which direction? 20 minutes, maybe less. Thalsera's bioluminescent patterns flickered frantically. East. Toward the old mining complex. But you must understand. Velkari children. We bond with our young. Psychic connection. She cannot survive long without me. The pain. The separation. It will kill her. Marcus had seen many things during his service with the Coalition. He had fought beside dozens of alien species, learned about their cultures and biology. But the raw desperation in Thalsera's voice transcended species. This was a mother's fear. Universal and ancient. How long does she have? Marcus asked. 2 days, perhaps less, and the raiders, they traffic children, sell them to research facilities, experiments. Thalsera's voice broke. They will hurt her. And even if they do not, the separation will kill her. I can feel her fear. She is calling for me, but I cannot answer. Rodriguez touched Marcus's shoulder urgently. Sarge, those contacts are getting closer. We need to move now. Marcus looked at the injured ambassador, then at his team, then at the eastern horizon where raiders had taken a child. Command had already denied one rescue request. They would never approve a mission into raider territory for one alien child. The odds were terrible. The risk was enormous. But Marcus remembered his nephew's face, remembered the trust in children's eyes when they looked at adults for protection. He met Thalsera's desperate gaze and made a decision that would change everything. I'll bring her back, Marcus said firmly. I promise you. Ambassador, I will bring your daughter home. Thalsera's eyes widened. You cannot. It is too dangerous. The raiders are many, and you are only 3. Marcus stood, helping Rodriguez lift the ambassador carefully. Ma'am, I'm human. Dangerous is what we do best. As they carried the survivors back to the vehicle, Marcus was already planning. The raiders had a 20-minute head start, maybe more. They would be expecting pursuit from coalition forces, but not quickly, not from a small team. Chen started the engine as they loaded the survivors. Heading back to base? Yes, Marcus said. But this isn't over. Not by a long shot. Rodriguez stared at him. You're actually going after her, aren't you? One kid, surrounded by raiders, in hostile territory? Marcus checked his ammunition and supplies, his jaw set with determination. A mother is losing her child. That kid is scared and alone. So yes, Rodriguez. I'm going after her. Command will never approve it. Then I won't ask for permission. Marcus looked at his 2 companions. But I won't order you to come. This is my choice. Chen and Rodriguez looked at each other for a long moment. Then Chen grinned. Well, I've always wanted to see what happens when you poke a raider nest. Rodriguez sighed heavily. My wife is going to kill me. But yeah, I'm in. As they raced back toward coalition lines with the survivors, Thalsera remained conscious, her hand gripping Marcus's arm. Why? She whispered. Why would you risk this for a child you do not know? For a species you barely understand? Marcus looked at her. And his answer was simple and true. Because she's somebody's kid. And that's enough. Marcus stood in the medical bay, watching the doctors treat Ambassador Thalsera. Her injuries were serious but not life-threatening. The same could not be said for her daughter. Every hour that passed brought Zinlia closer to death. Sergeant Webb. A voice called sharply. Marcus turned to see Commander Ortiz approaching, his face tight with anger. Sir, what were you thinking? Ortiz demanded. You disobeyed direct orders. You entered hostile territory without authorization. I saved 3 lives, sir. And now you want to throw yours away. Ortiz crossed his arms. The ambassador told me about your promise. The answer is no. Absolutely not. We don't have the resources for a rescue mission into Raider territory. 1 child against the lives of my soldiers? The math doesn't work. Marcus met his commander's eyes steadily. With respect, sir, she's not a number. She's a kid who's dying right now. My decision is final. You're confined to base until further notice. Ortiz turned to leave. Then I resigned, sir. Ortiz stopped. What? What? I resign from the coalition forces, effective immediately. Marcus's voice was calm. As a civilian, I can go where I want. Do what I want. You're being a fool, Webb. Maybe. But I made a promise to a mother. Marcus glanced toward Thalsara's bed. I intend to keep it. Ortiz stared at him for a long moment. Finally, he sighed heavily. You have 48 hours. After that, if you're not back, we're listing you as missing in action. Understood? Marcus smiled slightly. Understood, sir. And Webb, stay off official channels. I can't officially support this. Ortiz paused. But the armory door will be unlocked tonight. And those supply crates near the east gate? Nobody's watching them. After Ortiz left, Marcus found Chen and Rodriguez in the cafeteria. They looked up as he approached. So? Chen asked. We leave at midnight. Pack light. Water. Ammunition. Medical supplies. We're going in fast and quiet. Rodriguez nodded slowly. You know the odds are terrible, right? 20, maybe 30 raiders, against 3 of us. I can count. Marcus sat down. But we have advantages. We're trained, we're smart, and we're human. What does being human have to do with it? Chen asked. Humans are stubborn. We don't quit. And we're really good at improvising. Marcus pulled out a datapad, showing the terrain maps. The raiders are overconfident. They think nobody will come after 1 child. That's their mistake. They spent the next few hours planning. The old mining complex, where the raiders operated, was a fortress, built into the side of a mountain. Direct assault was suicide. They would need another approach. At midnight, they left the base quietly. The vehicle was loaded with supplies, weapons, and enough explosives to make things interesting. Marcus carried a small device that Thalsara had given him before the painkillers knocked her out. It is a bonding stone, she had explained weakly. Zinlia will recognize it. She will know I sent you. Now, driving through the dark wasteland, Marcus held the stone carefully. It was warm to the touch and glowed faintly with inner light. He could feel a strange pulse from it, like a heartbeat. That's weird, Rodriguez said, noticing the glow. I thought only Velkari could activate those. Maybe it responds to intention, Marcus suggested. Or maybe the kid is strong enough that her mother's bond transferred somehow. They drove for 3 hours across the wasteland. The terrain grew rougher, forcing them to slow down. Twice they had to hide, as raider patrols passed nearby. The raiders were numerous and well-armed, more organized than typical gangs. As dawn approached, they ditched the vehicle in a rocky canyon and continued on foot. The mining complex was still 5 kilometers away, but vehicles would be spotted too easily. The hike was brutal. The temperature soared as the twin suns rose. Marcus's armor felt like an oven, but he pushed forward. Chen and Rodriguez followed, breathing hard. This was where human endurance came into play. Many alien species were stronger or faster, but humans could keep going when others collapsed. Around noon, they found a ridge overlooking the complex. Marcus pulled out his binoculars and studied their target. The complex was exactly as bad as he feared. High walls, guard towers, Patrols everywhere. At least 20 raiders visible, probably more inside. Then he saw the cages. They were in a courtyard near the center of the complex. Small figures huddled inside them. Children, different species. All looked weak and terrified. There, Marcus whispered, adjusting the binoculars. Third cage from the left. He could see her clearly now. Zinlia was tiny, even for her species. Her bioluminescent patterns were barely visible, flickering weakly. She lay curled in the corner of the cage, not moving. Is she alive? Rodriguez asked quietly. Marcus zoomed in further. He could see her breathing. Shallow and slow. Yes, but barely. Chen studied the complex through his own binoculars. This is impossible, Sarge. We can't fight through that many raiders. We'd be dead before we reached the cages. We're not going to fight through them, Marcus said. We're going to make them come to us. He explained his plan. It was crazy. It relied on the raiders being stupid and humans being clever. But it might work. They spent the afternoon preparing. Chen rigged explosives at strategic points around the perimeter. Rodriguez set up fake communication signals that would make it sound like a full coalition battalion was approaching. Marcus prepared the route they would use to infiltrate during the chaos. As the second sun began to set, casting orange light across the wasteland, Marcus checked his weapon one final time. His communicator buzzed softly. It was a message from the coalition base. From Thalsera. The translator had cleaned up her words. Please save my daughter. She is my light. My joy. My reason for living. Bring her back to me. Marcus typed a simple response. I will. I promise. He looked at Chen and Rodriguez. Last chance to back out. This gets real. In about 5 minutes. Chen grinned. And miss all the fun? No way. Rodriguez checked his weapon nervously. My kids are going to hear one crazy story about their dad. Assuming we survive to tell it, Chen added. We'll survive, Marcus said with confidence. He didn't entirely feel. Ready? Ready? They nodded. Marcus activated the first timer. In 30 seconds, the explosions would start. The psychological warfare would begin. And 3 humans would attempt something that most species would call insane. But as Marcus moved into position, gripping the bonding stone that pulsed warmly in his hand, he felt certain of one thing. That little girl in the cage would not die alone and afraid, not while he could still stand. The first explosion lit up the evening sky. The rescue had begun. The explosion shattered the evening silence. Fire and smoke erupted from the northern section of the raider complex. Alarms began wailing immediately. Marcus watched through his binoculars as raiders rushed toward the blast site, exactly as planned. Phase 2, he whispered into his comm. Rodriguez activated the false communication signals. Static-filled voices flooded the raider frequencies, speaking in official coalition military codes. Reports of incoming gunships, orders for battalion movements, requests for artillery support. All fake, all designed to make the raiders think a massive force was attacking. The second explosion hit the eastern wall. Then, a third, on the western side. The raiders were panicking now, running in different directions, shouting orders that contradicted each other. They're splitting up, Chen reported from his position. Guards leaving the courtyard. Moving in, Marcus said. He slipped down from the ridge, moving quickly through the shadows. The complex had been built for defense against frontal assault, but the chaos had created gaps. Guards abandoned their posts to respond to the explosions. Perfect. Marcus reached the outer wall and pressed himself against it. His heart pounded. This was the dangerous part. Once inside, there was no backup plan. No escape route, except forward. He pulled out a small cutting torch and began working on the metal fence. The sound was covered by the alarm sirens and shouting raiders. 30 seconds later, he had an opening large enough to squeeze through. Inside the complex, Marcus moved like a shadow. Years of training took over. He kept to the walls, avoided the lights, moved during the noise of explosions. 2 raiders ran past him, so focused on the supposed attack they never looked his way. The courtyard was ahead. Only 2 guards remained, both looking nervous and distracted. Marcus needed them gone, but couldn't risk gunfire alerting others. He picked up a small rock and threw it against a far wall. The sound made both guards turn. Marcus moved quickly, covering the distance in seconds. The first guard went down silently, with a blow to the neck. The second barely had time to turn before Marcus disarmed him and knocked him unconscious. Now the cages were right in front of him. Marcus saw the children clearly for the first time. There were 7 of them, different species he didn't recognize. All looked sick and scared. They cowered away from him, whimpering. "It's okay," Marcus said softly. "I'm here to help." But they didn't understand. To them, he was just another dangerous creature. Humans had a reputation in the galaxy as fierce warriors. These children had been taught to fear predators. Then he reached Zinlia's cage. The little Velkari girl lay motionless, her bioluminescent patterns almost completely dark. Marcus's heart sank. Was he too late? He broke the lock and opened the cage door. Carefully, he reached in and touched her shoulder. Her skin was cold, too cold. "Zinlia," he whispered. "Your mother sent me." He pulled out the bonding stone. The moment it came near Zinlia, the stone began glowing brighter. And incredibly, the girl's eyes opened slightly. "Mama?" Her voice was barely a whisper. "Your mama is waiting for you," Marcus said gently. She was so light, so fragile. "I'm going to take you to her. But you need to be very quiet. Okay?" Zinlia's small hand gripped his finger weakly. Her bioluminescent patterns flickered briefly, responding to the bonding stone. Marcus wanted to free all the children, but he couldn't carry them all, and staying longer increased the risk of getting caught. He made a painful decision. "I'll come back for you," he promised the other children. "I swear it." He activated his comm. Package secured. Heading to extraction point. "Oh, copy that," Rodriguez replied. "But we have a problem. The raiders figured out it's a diversion. They're regrouping." Marcus cursed silently. He needed to move fast. He tucked Zinlia carefully against his chest and started moving back toward his exit point. He made it halfway across the compound before someone spotted him. "Intruder! In the courtyard!" Gunfire erupted. Marcus ran, keeping his body between Zinlia and the bullets. Rounds sparked off the walls around him. He fired back without looking, just enough to make the raiders take cover. More raiders appeared ahead, cutting off his exit route. Marcus dodged into a side building, his mind racing. "Chen, Rodriguez, I need an exit. Now." "Working on it," Chen's voice came back. Marcus found himself in what looked like a storage room. He kicked over metal crates, creating a barrier, then positioned himself behind it. Zinlia whimpered softly against his chest. "Shh, it's okay," Marcus whispered, even as raiders gathered outside. "I've got you. Nobody's going to hurt you." The raiders began firing into the room. Marcus returned fire carefully, making each shot count. He had maybe 40 rounds left, against a dozen raiders. Then the entire wall exploded. Chen had driven their vehicle straight through it, sending debris and raiders flying. The vehicle's armor was scorched and dented, but it was running. "Get in," Chen shouted. Marcus didn't need to be told twice. He sprinted for the vehicle, still protecting Zinlia with his body. Bullets pinged off the vehicle's armor as he dove into the back seat. Rodriguez was already firing from the passenger window, providing cover. "Go, go," Go. Chen hit the accelerator. The vehicle burst out of the storage room, through the courtyard, and crashed through the main gate. Raiders scattered in front of them. They were out of the complex, racing across the wasteland with half the raider force chasing them. "How's the kid?" Rodriguez shouted over the sound of gunfire. Marcus looked down at Xinlia. Her eyes were closed again, her breathing shallow. But when he held the bonding stone near her, she stirred slightly. Still alive. Still fighting. "She's holding on," Marcus said. "But we need to get her to her mother fast." An explosion erupted behind them as raiders fired rocket launchers. Chen swerved wildly, avoiding the blast by meters. "They're really mad," Chen yelled. "Can't imagine why," Rodriguez muttered, firing back. "We only blew up their base and stole their prisoner." The chase continued across the wasteland. The vehicle's systems were failing. Hit multiple times. Warning lights flashed on the dashboard. They wouldn't make it to the coalition base like this. Marcus looked at the map on his datapad. There was a canyon system ahead. Narrow passages where the raiders' larger vehicles couldn't follow. "Chen, head for the canyons. That's dangerous terrain." "So is getting blown up?" Marcus pointed. "There. Hard left." Chen yanked the controls. The vehicle tilted dangerously, then straightened as they entered the canyon system. The walls rose high on both sides, barely wide enough for their vehicle. Behind them, the raider vehicles had to slow down or risk crashing. But they kept coming. Persistent and angry. "We've got maybe 10 minutes on them," Rodriguez reported. "Then they'll catch up." Marcus held Xinlia closer. The little girl was getting weaker. Her bioluminescent patterns had stopped flickering completely. Time was running out in more ways than one. "Contact the base," Marcus ordered. "Tell them we need medical evacuation. Emergency priority. And tell Ambassador Thalsera we're coming." He looked down at the dying child in his arms. "Hold on, little one. Your mama is waiting. Just hold on a little longer." The vehicle raced through the canyon, damaged and struggling, carrying 3 humans and 1 precious life. Behind them, raiders followed with vengeance on their minds. The race was on. The vehicle limped through the canyon, smoke trailing from the damaged engine. Warning lights painted the interior red. Chen gripped the controls tightly, navigating the narrow passages at dangerous speeds. "Engines overheating," he reported. "We're losing power." Marcus checked Xinlia again. Her skin felt even colder now. The bioluminescent patterns along her arms had gone completely dark. He pressed 2 fingers against her neck, searching for a pulse. It was there, but faint and irregular. "How much further to coalition territory?" Marcus asked. Rodriguez checked the map. 15 kilometers. But at this speed, 20 minutes minimum. 20 minutes. Marcus wasn't sure Xinlia had 20 minutes left. "We need to go faster," he said. "This thing won't go faster," Chen replied. "We're lucky it's still moving at all." Behind them, the raider vehicles emerged from the canyon. They had closed the distance, now only a few hundred meters back. "They're gaining," Rodriguez warned. Gunfire peppered the rear of their vehicle. The back window shattered, spraying glass. Marcus hunched over Xinlia, shielding her with his body. "Rodriguez, keep them back," Marcus ordered. Rodriguez leaned out the window and fired controlled bursts. 1 raider vehicle swerved and crashed into the canyon wall. But 3 more kept coming. Then, something unexpected happened. Xinlia's small hand moved, gripping Marcus's finger. Her eyes opened slightly. "Mama?" she whispered. "We're going to her," Marcus said softly. "Stay with me, okay? Keep fighting." The bonding stone in his pocket suddenly grew warmer. Marcus pulled it out and saw it glowing brightly. Xinlia's eyes fixed on it, and her bioluminescent patterns flickered weakly in response. "That's it," Marcus encouraged. "Your mama's waiting. She's thinking about you right now. Can you feel her?" Xinlia's small voice was barely audible. Hurts. So much. I know. But you're strong. Just like your mama. Marcus held the stone closer. Look at this. She gave it to me for you. It means she's coming. We just need to get to her. Something strange began happening. Marcus felt warmth spreading through his hand, where Xinlia gripped his finger. It wasn't painful, but it was unusual. Like a connection forming. Rodriguez glanced back. Sarge, your hand is glowing. Marcus looked down. His hand was indeed glowing with the same soft light as Xinlia's patterns. The bonding stone pulsed between them. Coalition Medical Command said this was impossible, Rodriguez said. Velkari children only bond with family. Maybe determination counts for something, Marcus replied. He didn't understand what was happening, but if it kept Xinlia alive, he didn't care. The vehicle burst out of the canyon into open wasteland. Ahead, Marcus could see Coalition territory. Safety was close. But so were the raiders. Message coming in from base, Chen announced. Ambassador Thalsera is demanding to speak with you. Put her through. The radio crackled. Then Thalsera's voice filled the vehicle, desperate and hopeful. Sergeant Webb? Do you truly have my daughter? Yes, ma'am, Marcus replied. She's weak, but she's alive. We're bringing her home. There was a sound that might have been a sob. I can feel her. Through the bond. She is so far away, but I can feel her presence growing stronger. You are bringing her closer. We'll be there soon, Marcus promised. 10 minutes, maybe less. She knows you, Thalsera said with wonder in her voice. Somehow, my daughter has formed a connection with you. This should not be possible. But I feel it through our bond. She trusts you. Marcus looked down at the small, fragile child in his arms. I won't let her down. Another explosion rocked the vehicle. The raiders were firing rockets now, desperate to stop them. We've got a problem, Chen shouted. Canyon pass ahead. Only route to coalition lines. And there are raiders blocking it. Marcus saw it. The canyon pass was narrow, with high walls on both sides. 3 raider vehicles blocked the entrance, positioned like a wall. Raiders stood behind them with heavy weapons. They set up an ambush, Rodriguez said. They knew we'd come this way. Chen slowed the vehicle. We can't punch through that. We need to find another route. There is no other route, Rodriguez said, studying the map. Not in time. Marcus looked at the ambush, then at Xinlia, then at the map. His mind worked quickly, calculating odds, considering options. Every choice was terrible. Turn back, and the raiders behind them would catch up. Find another route, and Xinlia would die before they reached help. Wait for coalition reinforcements, and the same result. Then Marcus smiled. It was the smile of someone about to do something very stupid and very human. Chen, how fast can this thing go if we don't worry about it surviving? Chen understood immediately. His eyes widened. You're not serious. Maximum speed. Straight through. Can we make it? Maybe. Probably not. The vehicle will tear itself apart. But maybe? Marcus pressed. Chen thought for a moment. Rodriguez stared at them both. You're both crazy. This is insane. Got a better idea? Marcus asked. Rodriguez was silent for a moment. Then he checked his weapon and smiled grimly. No. I guess I don't. Then we do this the human way. Marcus said. Fast, loud, and stupid. Chen, give me everything this engine has left. Coalition Command is calling, Rodriguez said. Commander Ortiz wants to know our status. Tell him we're about to do something really dumb, Marcus replied. He held Xinlia close. And tell medical to be ready. We're coming in hot. Chen took a deep breath and pushed the accelerator to maximum. The engine screamed in protest. The vehicle lurched forward, picking up speed rapidly. Smoke grenades ready, Rodriguez said, preparing their remaining equipment. Brace for impact, Chen warned. The vehicle rocketed toward the ambush. The raiders saw them coming and opened fire. Bullets struck the windshield, spiderwebbing the glass. A rocket streaked past, missing by inches. Rodriguez threw smoke grenades out the windows. Thick clouds of smoke filled the canyon pass, obscuring visibility. Can't see, Chen shouted. Doesn't matter, Marcus yelled back. Straight ahead. Don't stop for anything. They hit the ambush at full speed. The impact threw everyone forward. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. The world became noise and chaos and spinning darkness. Marcus held Xinlia tight, curling around her, protecting her with his own body as the vehicle crashed through the blockade, tumbled, rolled, and finally came to rest on its side. For a moment, everything was silent except for the hiss of the dying engine. Then Marcus heard the most beautiful sound in the world. Coalition alarms. Close by. They had made it through. They were inside coalition territory. Chen, Rodriguez, Marcus called out. Alive. Chen groaned. Somehow. Chen. Same. Rodriguez coughed. Marcus looked down at the small bundle in his arms. The little girl's eyes opened. Her bioluminescent patterns flickered weakly but definitely. Mama? She whispered. Yes, Marcus said, relief flooding through him. Your mama. She's right here. We made it. Through the shattered windows, Marcus could see coalition soldiers running toward them, medical teams with equipment, and one figure moving faster than all the others, still bearing bandages from her own injuries. Ambassador Thalsera had come for her daughter. The coalition soldiers reached the crashed vehicle within seconds. Strong hands pulled the doors open, helping Chen and Rodriguez out. Medical teams swarmed around them, checking for injuries. But Marcus only had eyes for the figure pushing through the crowd. Ambassador Thalsera moved with desperate speed, ignoring the medical staff trying to hold her back. Her injuries were still fresh, bandages visible beneath her diplomatic robes. But nothing would stop a mother from reaching her child. Marcus carefully climbed out of the wreckage, still cradling Xinlia against his chest. The little girl's bioluminescent patterns were flickering weakly, like a candle about to go out. The moment Thalsera saw them, she stopped. Her large eyes filled with tears that reflected the morning light. Her hand went to her mouth. Xinlia, she whispered. Marcus walked forward slowly, each step careful. The entire landing pad had gone silent. Hundreds of coalition personnel watched, holding their breath. He stopped in front of Thalsera and gently, carefully, placed the small child into her mother's waiting arms. The effect was immediate and miraculous. The moment mother and daughter touched, Xinlia's bioluminescent patterns blazed to life, brighter than before. The dim, dying light became a brilliant display of blues and silvers that danced across her skin. The psychic bond that had been stretched nearly to breaking snapped back into place. Mama! Xinlia's voice was stronger now, filled with joy and relief. Mama! I'm back! He saved me! Thalsera held her daughter close, her whole body shaking with emotion. Tears streamed down her face as she pressed her forehead against Xinlia's. The Velkari were normally a reserved, formal species. But in this moment, Thalsera was simply a mother who had nearly lost everything. My light, she whispered in her own language, then switched to Galactic Common. I was so scared, Mama, Xinlia said, her small arms wrapped tight around her mother's neck. The bad people took me. It was dark and cold, and I could not feel you. I know, my darling, I know. Thalsera looked up at Marcus, her eyes overflowing with gratitude that transcended language and species. But this brave human came for you. He crossed the wasteland. He fought the raiders. He brought you back to me. Zinlia turned to look at Marcus. Her large, innocent eyes studied him carefully. Then, she reached out one small hand toward him. Marcus took it gently. The warm connection he had felt before returned. Stronger now. He could feel her happiness, her relief, her gratitude. Not through words, but through something deeper. "Thank you," Zinlia said simply. "You promised Mama you would save me. You kept your promise." Marcus knelt down to her level, his throat tight with emotion. "That's what soldiers do. We protect people who need help. Not just a soldier," Thalsera said softly. "A hero." "No, ma'am," Marcus replied. "Just a human who couldn't walk away." The medical teams finally moved in, checking both Thalsera and Zinlia. The doctors were amazed. Zinlia's vital signs were stabilizing rapidly now that the psychic bond was restored. What had been a dying child minutes ago was now recovering before their eyes. Commander Ortiz approached, his expression caught between anger and admiration. "Sergeant Webb, you disobeyed orders. You went into hostile territory without authorization. You destroyed coalition property. You started an unauthorized military action." Marcus stood at attention. "Yes, sir. I understand there will be consequences." Ortiz was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled slightly. "Yes, consequences. Like this." He pulled out a small box and opened it. Inside was a medal, the Coalition Star of Valor, for extraordinary courage and selfless service beyond the call of duty. Presented to Sergeant Marcus Webb. The gathered soldiers began applauding. The sound grew louder, filling the landing pad. Chen and Rodriguez, despite their injuries, stood and saluted. Marcus was speechless. "Sir, I was just doing what was right." "Exactly," Ortiz said. "That's what makes it extraordinary." Over the next few hours, the story spread throughout the coalition base and beyond. Word traveled through the galactic communication networks. A human soldier had risked everything to save one alien child. He had fought through impossible odds, not for glory or reward, but simply because it was right. The other children from the Raider complex were rescued by a full coalition strike team that same day. All of them were reunited with their families, thanks to Marcus's mission revealing the location. 3 days later, Marcus was preparing to return to duty when Thalsera requested a private meeting. He found her in a quiet garden area, Zinlia playing nearby, under the watchful eyes of security. "Sergeant Webb," Thalsera said formally, "I wish to speak with you before my daughter and I return to our homeworld." "How is she doing?" Marcus asked. "The doctors say she will make a full recovery. The bond is strong again." Thalsera paused. "But something unprecedented has occurred. Zinlia has formed a secondary bond with you. A bond of trust and family." Marcus blinked in surprise. "I don't understand. I thought Velkari only bonded with biological family." "As did we," Thalsera replied. "But you risked your life for her. You protected her when she was alone and afraid. You kept your promise when others said it was impossible. In our culture, such actions create bonds deeper than blood." She pulled out a small crystal pendant, intricate and beautiful. "This is a family token. In our tradition, I offer this to you, Marcus Webb. You are now considered kin to House Thalsera. You will always have a place in our family." Marcus took the pendant carefully. "Ambassador, I don't know what to say. I was just doing my job." "No," Thalsera said firmly. "You did far more than your job. You showed my people something we had forgotten. That strength and compassion are not opposites. That warriors can have gentle hearts. That humans, whom many species fear, are capable of extraordinary kindness." Zinlia ran over, her bioluminescent patterns dancing happily. She hugged Marcus's leg. "Will you visit us? On our home world?" Marcus smiled and picked her up. "If I can, little one. I promise. I'll try." You keep your promises, Zinlia said confidently. I know you will come. Later that evening, Marcus stood with Chen and Rodriguez, watching the transport ship carry Thalsera and Zinlia home. The little girl waved from the window, her lights flashing in a pattern that, somehow, Marcus understood meant goodbye. So, Rodriguez said, we saved a kid, almost got killed, destroyed a vehicle, and somehow got medals for it. Chen grinned. Just another day. In the coalition forces. Marcus touched the pendant around his neck, feeling its warmth. No. It was more than that. We showed the galaxy what humans can do when we decide to care. Think it will make a difference? Rodriguez asked. Marcus remembered Thalsera's words about changing perceptions. He remembered the other species watching the reunion with tears in their eyes. He remembered Zinlia's trust and joy. Yeah, he said quietly. I think it will. Across the galaxy, the story spread. News broadcasts showed the footage of the reunion. The image of a human soldier gently placing a child into her mother's arms became famous. Requests came flooding in for human soldiers to join peacekeeping missions. Other species began seeing humans not just as warriors, but as protectors. And in the halls of the coalition government, new laws were passed. Stronger protections for children. Harsher penalties for traffickers. New rescue divisions, trained by humans, dedicated to recovering lost children. One small act of courage. One promise kept. One child saved. It had changed everything. Commander Ortiz found Marcus in the cafeteria a week later. It was a video. Zinlia appeared on screen. Healthy and happy. Her bioluminescent patterns bright and beautiful. She was in a room filled with water features and soft light. Hello, Marcus, she said in carefully practiced galactic common. I am home now. I am safe and happy. Mama says you are a hero, but I think you are just a good friend. Thank you for keeping your promise. Thank you for bringing me home. I will never forget you. Behind her, Thalsera appeared, placing a hand on her daughter's shoulder. Thank you, Marcus Webb, for everything. You have our eternal gratitude. The message ended with Zinlia waving, her lights flashing in happiness. Marcus smiled. His duty had been to protect and serve. But somewhere along the way, he had gained something unexpected. A family across the stars. Rodriguez appeared at his shoulder. New mission briefing in 10 minutes. Apparently, there's a situation on the border worlds. They specifically requested humans. Why us? Marcus asked. Rodriguez grinned. Because word got out. When things get impossible, when lives are at stake, when someone needs saving against all odds, send the humans. We're too stubborn to quit. Marcus stood, touching the pendant one more time. Then let's go. Someone out there needs help. As they walked toward the briefing room, Marcus thought about Zinlia's words. Mom, I'm back. He saved me. Those words would stay with him forever. A reminder of why he served, why he fought, why he never gave up. Because in the end, every mission, every battle, every risk came down to one simple truth. Someone's child needed to come home, and as long as Marcus Webb could stand, he would make sure they did. The end.